Hello, YouTube. It is your friend, trusted ally. I said that last time, didn't I? It's Atticus. How we doing? Got a good one for you. This is a ranked Dark Elf versus Wood Elf game that I just played. And, yeah, the strategy was kind of neat. I really liked it. So I wanted to show you a meta, reliable way of dealing with the Isar. I think they're called the Wood Elves as the Druchii. So I paused it because right off the bat, you can see right here that I caught a Way Watcher here in an ambush. So a few things when you play this matchup, guys, as the Dark Elves, always look at your map and see what Vanguard options are available, both for you and your opponent. If you're playing a Wood Elf, always expect it. So you can see right off the bat, I posted 2 units of Harpies right here in this wooded area, hoping that he would be foolish enough to Vanguard. And you can see he put a Waystalker here. So this is going to be a really a good pick for me right off the bat. I'm going to get something. Over in the back, you can see that I Vanguarded my own force of 1, 2, 3 units of Dark Riders with shields, and these guys are going to be trying to get into the missile, the missile line here and shutting them down. For your infantry, when you do this matchup, and I've had a lot of experience, like a lot of people see the Wood Elves as a hard counter to the Dark Elves, and I used to train of Lotus Moon, who was the one who kind of taught me how to deal with them, and really one of the there's always going to be exceptions, but one of the most reliable ways of doing it is just to go a front line of spears. Really cheap. Maybe you could fit in the Hellebroni if you want, but yeah, just spears. They have the silver shields. They could trade effectively with, what are these guys called? Eternal Guard. And it doesn't give a valuable target for your opponent to shoot with. But, and I know I've been doing this a lot lately with my builds, but Reaper Bolt Throwers, starting to realize, well, I've realized it for the longest time, but they have a place pretty much in every matchup, and these right here will just punish Way Watchers or any kind of archer units, Wild Riders and things like that. As long as you protect them, these guys will do the job, and it kind of just keeps you having the range advantage against a faction that's generally known to have that. You also get 1 Cold Wind Knights, and the reason you do this is both to protect the Bolt Throwers, deal with any Wild Riders, deal with Dirt Through, etc. And my favorite lord in this matchup is Morathi, and Morathi, for 1, for her debuffs, for 2, for her anti-large, so she could go fly in and support these Cold Wind Knights. If there's like a cav fight, she fight a Glade Lady up on a mount, and she has her supporting spells. So yeah, so that's the build. And you can also see I have another unit of Dark Riders right here in reserve for my opponent. And yeah, this is a ranked game, guys. So this one it counted for points. For my opponent, front line of Eternal Guard, pretty common. These guys are really good. Let's look at their stats compared to a Dark Shard, or the spear guys for the Dark Elves. So we got 36-44 versus, these guys have armor piercing, versus 31-53. So they have a little bit more damage, but we have a little bit more melee defense. But we have martial prowess too, so that kind of gives us a little bit of an edge. So yeah, so he has that Way Watcher that we saw in the back. 1 unit of Way Watchers, a Wild Rider right there, and then he has a couple Glade Guard with Hagbang Tips, 3 Hagbang Tips, and some more Dancers, and he also has a Glade Lady on a Dragon. So yeah, pretty scary army. So let's go ahead and start blabbered on for the longest here. So right off the bat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look on the mini map and see if I see any red. Right out the bat, I'm going to see that there's something right here. So immediately I'm going to collapse my Harpies onto these, and yeah, he's just going to lose almost 1,000 points there, all for nothing. Also, I'm going to start, I'm going to see that he has the high ground, so I'm going to start moving my men up that way too. And it's pretty safe to do that in this matchup, or in this map, because it's going to take him such a long time to close the distance. So, meanwhile, when that happens, I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward a little bit. You see now, well, as I do that, I'm going to start moving up my Dark Riders here. I probably should have been a little bit more patient, but I was hoping he wasn't paying attention, and I was trying to get him in these woods here so I could, deal with these Hagbane Tips. Opponent is going to wisely catch on to it and send his Glade Lady and his Spellsinger of Life here to intercept these guys, which is going to force me to have to pull them back. Meanwhile, my unit's still trying to get into position, but I'm going to keep the Bolt Throwers here on the bottom ground. For 1, they could shoot up, they could arch over the cliff here, and for 2, it would just take too long to get them in position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to save these Dark Riders, and I'm going to start pulling them back, since there's no use of losing them all for nothing. You can see here I'm trying to arch them back, and the idea is I'm hoping that I could lure these guys into my Bolt Throwers. So right off the bat, I'm going to get a little poison, though, which is unfortunate. It's going to slow these guys down. And he is going to land one of his units. And what you do in this situation, guys, is keep giving the move command. If you don't do it once, because your unit will stop once they attack something, just keep clicking, keep clicking, keep clicking, keep clicking. Marathi did cast one of her Doom Bolt spells right here. These guys were standing still, so it was just a little early damage. It's a good pick for me. Over here, you can see that the two bolt throwers here are starting to get into position, and we're just waiting. We're waiting for these guys to get in range. Over here, we've dealt with that Way Stalker, Way Watcher, whatever it's called. So I'm going to start moving these Harpies, escorting him off the map, and then I'm going to put him into an ambush position over here. And yeah, finally, now these guys are going to get into range, and we will start shooting here shortly. I'm going to take Marathi here to support. Let's see here. Wait for the shot. Yep, there we go. So now we're going to start shooting into these Wild Riders, since these are, probably the most immediate threat, and one that I'll have the most value shooting. Going to get a miasma off too to slow them down. It's going to make it a little bit easier for my bolt throwers to shoot. I'm going to have some Dark Riders here in defense. I'm going to move down my Cold One Knights and a Spear unit just to protect this investment. We need to really win this. Now my opponent has chased these guys and allowed me to do a lot of free damage to him, which is, even if he does heal it, it's wasting his Winds of Magic. So yeah, we're just getting some really good hits into the back of these guys, killing a few models. He is going to leave his Forest Dragon here in the back, which we will do a little damage to as well. The good thing about Marathi too, even if your Lord takes or your opponent takes a more powerful Lord, is they won't be able to catch her. She's just so fast. So if he wants to chase me all day, that's fine with me. So now you can see that I have still my formation right here. And I forgot to mention, these guys are fully chevroned up. So when you take the spears, chevron them up all the way to gold, guys. So maybe 5 or 6 units. So now, where was I? What was my train of thought? So now I'm going to start shooting in on his Glady here, who kind of got out of position. And so I'm liking where I'm standing right now. I've gotten rid of one of his Glade ladies. I have map supremacy. Like, I'm controlling the map and dictating the pace. And if he wants to deal with me, he's going to have to come through this choke point, which you'll see here in a second how devastating that turns out being for him. Both from the bolt throwers when I put them on the multi-shot, and from Rathy's spells. If he globs up, once I send these guys right here, you can see these guys are poised. As soon as they come into this choke point, I'm just going to just rush him in, clog them all up here. I'll have a unit come from over here. I'll have my 2 Harpies in ambush hit from the back, and we're going to get a full surround on him. So right now, you can see he's going to try to move up with his archers, and I'm going to change to multi-shot. Yeah, we're going to start just raining in on the damage on these guys. And this is great value. I'm going to get another really good Doom Bolt from my opponent. He did kind of move, so it kind of neglected some of the damage, unfortunately. But yeah, this whole time, though, we're just raining in these multi-shots. And this is, just free value for me. This is, a lot of money he's getting wasted. And what it's going to do is it's going to make him have a little sense of urgency. He's going to feel like he has to move. I am going to try to cast a, what's that thing called? The Vortex spell, but he did catch it last minute and move. But my opponent, as I was hoping, is starting to take the bait. Now he's starting to move all his men up, which is going to cause them to, start globbing up here, as you'll see here in a second. Also, I'm going to give the move command for these guys here shortly. Same with the Harpies. And yeah, so now he's all clogged up. So they're taking all that splash damage. I'm going to move my calf here real shortly to intercept him. So I'm just waiting. I don't want to spook him. Here in a second. Let's go, guys. So yeah, look at all this free damage, guys. Just raining in on these guys. These guys should be moving if I'm... Yep, so now we're going to start trying to... The trap has been sprung. Now that these guys are in position, there goes my Cav. He has a lot of his spear units in the back here. He sees that the 2 Harpies are coming, so, his anti-large is going to have to deal with either the things in the back or the things in the front, which Harpies are not large entities anyway, so they'll stay alive extra long. So here they come, guys, rushing in, all while the bolt throwers are just raining in on these guys. Harpies come to collapse in on them, and now his whole semblance of a formation, a strategy has just been ruined since those bolt throwers threw him out of position. I am going to get a nice Soul Stealer up on these guys. I'm just trying to heal up, and there's what I was talking about, guys. Vortex on this nice, juicy glob, and look how it just wrecks all the leadership. Just destroying all those guys. Meanwhile, the bolt throwers are going to switch to the Glade Lady there. You can see now we're starting to focus in on him. He is going to land, so I'm going to send these spears here to intercept. Apologize for the lag there. And there it goes. So yeah, now I got a full surround pretty much. All his units are starting the mass rout. I have reinforcements coming from the side here, and Marathi's is going to dive in. And the best part is I have all these mobile units will be able to escort these guys right off the map, so they won't be able to rout. Over here you can see that he did take out one of my bolt throwers, which is unfortunate, but He took a little damage in the meanwhile, and he can't heal because his healer is, in combat. So I have the Cold Wind Knights just hoping that he'll make that same mistake again. This is what I was talking about, though. I had this one unit in reserve here in the back. It's going to come around here and, yeah, just escort, 5-6 units just off the map for free. What is it, kitty cat? Kitty. Marathi is going to land, which is going to be given that debuff. So we got our Dark Riders with gold chevrons as well. I probably should have mentioned that. We got spears, a full unit of spears here. We got the Hellabroni. Everybody just claps in on those guys. And, yeah, over here, my one remaining bolt thrower is just shooting in on this guy. Come here, buddy. So, yeah, he's trying to, do a little damage here. But, yeah, it's too much of a glove. There ain't really much he could do about it, you know what I mean? Over here, these War Dancers are going to be fighting with my spears and my Dark Riders. But at this point, yeah, I'm not really too afraid of that. He is going to land. I don't know why he did. I guess he was, I think it's probably because if he didn't, he'd get the thing where you have to attack the Lord in the air, which is going to allow me to collapse these guys. We've dealt with the Glob. His Spellsinger's been broken. We've escorted everybody off the map, and yeah, it's another win for me on ranked. So I really enjoyed that. I hope that was really helpful. One, to show you guys how to do this map. Two, to show you guys a reliable build. Now, this build will work for more than just, Vanguard and maps and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and look at it, guys. So, yeah, a few things I forgot to mention. Bring the spears, fully chevroned up. Same with the Dark Riders. You need to keep these guys alive since you're going really cheap. You need your Harpies. If anything you've learned from my channel is the value of Harpies. And the Bolt Throwers. Bolt Throwers are the counter to Wood Elves. It's one of the first lessons Lotus Moon taught me was to bring Bolt Throwers to counter Way Watchers, the superior, they're not superior cav, but the Wild Riders, and things like that. And, you could just invest one unit of Cold Wind Knights that you could protect it, because the Cold Wind Knights could take on maybe 2 Wild Riders, since they don't have very good armor piercing, and these guys have a lot of armor. So, yeah, I hope that helps. I know this is a hard matchup for Dark Elves, but it is possible. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought it was a really cool game. Using the map to my advantage, getting that Vortex spell, the ambushing, and, yeah, the things I want you guys to take from this is, for one, always check your Vanguard options for you and yourself. 2, Bolt Throwers are a good counter to Wood Elves. 3, spears and Dark Riders are pretty much all you need, supported by Harpies. Don't go expensive units. Now, there is builds which you could use that, and I've done them before. If you'd went like Durthu and, a bunch of things like that, then yeah, maybe you could switch it up. But even this build right here would take on a Durthu build. Marathi's anti-large as well, and for supporting debuffs, it works. So, alright guys, it's Atticus. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.